Hi everybody, happy day 4 of the Eat Clean Challenge. I hope you guys have had an amazing weekend. Weekends can be difficult. I know for me, before I started Herbalife especially, weekends were always my excuse to splurge on my diet. You know, I'd made it through the week, I'd been great, and so I was going to eat whatever I wanted on the weekends, but not anymore. Now it's like I crave my shakes, and so I hope you weren't met with too much temptation, especially if you're the first time using the products or doing our Eat Clean Challenge. I just commend you. Like I said, weekends can be tricky, and you've done it. You've made it. It's Sunday night. We have one more day to go. Did I say day 4? I meant day 5. Day 5 of the challenge. I'm one more day behind. So my mind has just been all over the place all day, but I wanted to share a little bit with you all this evening about my story. I joined Herbalife back in April. Right here, I'm at the Nutrition Club where my amazing coach Alexis owns and runs, and now I'm starting to work here and will be a partner hopefully here soon. But just wanted to give you a little bit about my story and where I come from. I have struggled with weight and food and body image my whole life. Growing up in 7th grade, we moved to a larger city than what I grew up in, and the kids in school used to make fun of me. They used to call me Pat, the character from Saturday Night Live, because you couldn't tell if it was a guy or girl. At the time, I had really, really short curly hair. I have lots of curls, so really short curly hair, glasses, braces, and I was overweight. I was a heavy girl, and so I remember going home and asking my parents who that was and what they meant, and realizing, that they were making fun of me, that because of my size, I was being teased, and it stuck and it hurt. Also, little memories throughout my life, when people would make comments about, oh, have you had enough to eat? Or, the neighbor kids would call you fat, or the doctor would say that you're stocky, things like that. And those little memories always resonated, unfortunately, with me, and they stuck in my mind. At age 15, I was diagnosed with bulimia. I started binging and purging due to a class of all things. I was watching in a health class a documentary with Oprah Winfrey way back in the day, and she, I guess it wasn't a documentary, but it was a study for a woman who had anorexia, and I didn't know what bulimia was much at that time, but this woman on the show had anorexia, was probably less than 80 pounds, just a skeleton of a person, and talking about her journey and her struggle. And they went in, and that class dove into then the binging and purging aspects of bulimia. And it wasn't long after that I had gone to dinner with my family. I went into the bathroom, and I tried to make myself sick after that. It didn't work. And so I left the bathroom that day going, well, that didn't work. But the cycle soon began. And I did get it to work, unfortunately, and it took over. I had some great friends, and when my parents were made aware of it, I had tremendous support along the way. And so going through that journey at a young age, you're given tools, but you're not always taught about that relationship with food. And so though I had help and I had support, it was definitely something that impacted and affected my life for many, many years. In my early 20s, I also, in college, I started drinking very heavily and very quickly. Not to dive too much into that story, but that consumed my life. And I started to realize that things like food and things like alcohol, I was using as a coping mechanism, as an escape mechanism. I would eat because it would provide that satisfaction for that moment. And I would drink because I would escape and be able to step out of the reality that I was in. And ultimately, what it came down to was I didn't like the person I was, and then the more I drank and the more I ate, and the more I became this just soul inside of this body that I didn't know where I was going, what I was doing, and I lost myself completely. By the grace of God, I was able to put down the drink about 10 and a half years ago. Praise the Lord. And one thing I remember, though, from counseling early on and comparing, bulimia very early before my drinking days, she compared bulimia and alcoholism. And she said, 12-step programs for eating work, but the two different things are is you can stop drinking, but you can't always stop eating, or you can't stop eating. So naturally, though I was able to, overcome and put together some tools to help with the alcoholism and to keep me sober today, I still struggled with food, and I still struggled with this other underlying issue of not loving myself, of not being happy, the person I become. So that escalated through the years, and again, it's been a long time coming, but I started to realize that my eating habits were much like my drinking habits. I would eat in private, I would eat late, I would wake up in the morning and think, I am not going to eat poorly today. And by about 10 o'clock, I'd have a nibble of a cookie and think, oh, I've shot the diet. I've shot whatever I was doing. It's on like Donkey Kong. I'll start again tomorrow. And that was the sick cycle that just kept feeding into my head over and over and over again. And that was how I drank. And one thing I realized then too, that the only way I was able to, step out of the control of alcohol was to ask for help, surrender to the Lord and ask for help. And so I finally did that with my eating. And though I tried many diets, oh my gosh, I've tried so many diets under the sun. My favorite is the all protein, because I tell you what, I got to the point that I couldn't eat any more pork rinds with ranch dressing. I mean, I was just like day 2, I thought, I can't do this. I can't do all protein. More power to you if you can do a no carb, all protein diet. That wasn't me. But I tried everything. And to be honest with you, if there was a magic pill to make you skinny tomorrow, I would probably still consider it. But what does that mean for me? What is skinny in my mind? I remember when I was at my healthiest and at my lowest weight, I was walking through Walmart one day, and I still looked at the end cap at the new, the trend at the time was the Ollie, pills that had come out. And it hit me at that point, and this has been many years ago, that I will never be satisfied, so I need to start learning to love the person that I am right now. So that brings me to April. And once again, I had been trying everything, and I was just fed up.